Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Real Football Fans of New Jersey. We are officially at episode number 196. We are away for the big 200. We have definitely been brainstorming, and hopefully we'll have news for you in the next week or so as far as where you could possibly catch us live in person for the 200th episode. But we have a episode 196 is not going to disappoint people because
hell no.
We had crazy news even dropping just a couple of hours ago. We have so much to discuss. We say it all the time in the off season. If you think things get slow, boring, quiet, they do not. You have to stick with us. We're going to bring you all the best in the world of football and housewives tonight. And we are going to start it off by revealing our poll results. We did poll you guys on our social media outlets. And let's get right into the results here. So this ties into one of the biggest stories of the week that we will get into. But with Mr. Russell Wilson playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos, so crazy that we're reading this right now.
I know.
That wasn't even on our minds.
No.
But with Russell Wilson playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos, this is the AFC West, the best division in football. Obviously, in that division, you have the Kansas City Chiefs, you have the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. So 63% of you said, yes, it is now the best division in football. Kate, what did you say?
I did go with yes. I think, prior to this massive trade, this massive news, you're going to look at a team, a division like the NFC West, and you're going to say like they were the most, competitive conference, whatever, last year. And we had said that always, are they going to send 3 teams? What they sent 4? Like 4 of those teams could compete. So now with Russell Wilson leaving Seattle, I really do think that gives the upper hand to the AFC West. I think that it definitely gives Denver, a little room to get a little bit more competitive. Obviously, Las Vegas is still maybe a little bit of a question mark, but the Chiefs and the Chargers are always going to throw that competition in there. And I think literally with just Russell Wilson, this just got that much better.
Yeah, the funny thing is like you're calling, and like I get why you're saying it. I agree with you. Like we're calling the Raiders a question mark. Yet they were in the playoffs this year.
I know.
Chargers weren't. And yes, I agree with you. I agree with the majority of our voters here. I did say yes as well. And absolutely, I think the best is in the West. You obviously have the NFC West, I think is the best division in the NFC. AFC West, best in the AFC. And I do think that I am giving the edge to the AFC West because of the departure of Russell Wilson.
Right.
So, obviously you sent 3 teams from the NFC West to the playoffs this past season, with the Seattle Seahawks not making it, with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. Whoever you're going to get, I'm assuming is going to be a downgrade. So it could, the season they had this year, which wasn't great, could very likely look worse this upcoming season. So to me, like, yes, you have 3 really solid teams that could not only go to the playoffs, but contend for a Super Bowl. But in the AFC West, you now have 4 teams that could make the playoffs and go into the postseason.
Yeah. So
crazy.
I know. It's like we just ended this season, but now I'm already ready. I'm ready for next season.
But you can make arguments for why you like or don't like the fact that they've added an extra wild card team. But I think the part that I like about it is like the possibility of the craziness of sending an entire division. Like that's wild. Yeah. But I kind of like the craziness. So
yeah.
All right. Number 2, this is a housewives question. What would you rather score tickets to, Luann's cabaret show or the Real Housewives of New Jersey men's Atlantic City show that they have done? We had 61% of you pick the New Jersey men. Caitlin, what did you go with?
I went with the men. We've already seen the cabaret, so that's why I want to scope the tickets for these men. So
I said the men as well, strictly for that reason. We love Luann's cabaret show.
Oh, so good.
It's amazing. But I would love to see the New Jersey men, especially in AC. Always a good time. So when they do that again, if they do that again, would love to get tickets.
We gotta go.
All right. And this is our second episode in the month of March. We are getting ready for both of these things this month. So, what do you get more excited for in March? March Madness or St. Patty's Day? 70% of you, we are a football podcast, so we got some sports fans watching.
Yeah.
70% of you said March Madness. Caitlin, I know you like both. So, what did you go?
I do like both. Great month, March. A lot of stuff given to us. I think like over the years, though, I think like really going out and celebrating St. Patrick's Day has become like a little like, I guess like not like top priority anymore.
Right.
But March Madness is always going to be on TV. Everyone's always going to be doing a bracket. So for me, it's something that is always on for me. So I'm going with March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are a football podcast, but I'm a big sports fan, and I can definitely say that March Madness is my favorite sporting event in any sport across the board. Year after year. So hands down, super pumped for March Madness. Can't wait. If you're listening, I organize brackets. If you want in, hit me up. But
I'm your girl. Hit me up.
I'm your girl. Hit me up. Hit me up. But yeah, those were our poll questions and our results. Thank you guys so much for voting. We truly appreciate it. We are live. So Kate, if they have any questions, where can they hit us?
So we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I already see the people's coming in on, it looks like we've got Facebook and Twitter right now. So thank you guys. If you want to ask us questions, you can on Facebook. If you want to ask us questions on Twitter, unfortunately, we can't see them through the stream where we're at right now. But I've got my phone next to me if you do want to reply to us. But it might be just a little easier to go to YouTube if you want. So, but feel free, ask us questions throughout the show. Give us your thoughts on the poll questions if you didn't already vote. But yeah, just looking forward to interacting with you guys for the rest of this episode. So let's go ahead and get into our big stories of the week for football. And let's not put a small emphasis on the word big to where we're starting first. We've got some major quarterback moves that have been made this week. It is only Wednesday, but give me that. Give me that football news. Give me that quarterback news. We want more of it, people. So yesterday, Green Bay and quarterback Aaron Rodgers agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth $200 million, including $153 million in guaranteed money. The deal makes Rodgers the highest paid player in NFL history on an annual basis, while also reducing his salary cap number for 2022. Aaron Rodgers confirmed the news on Twitter and stated he's very excited to be back. He did also, make claims that he didn't sign anything, which is that's just like true Aaron Rodgers fashion of being dramatic. So,
listen, the biggest part here for Green Bay is the fact that, they were able to give him the most lucrative deal they could possibly give him, but also they're reducing their salary cap, which is huge. That allowed them to franchise tag wide receiver Davante Adams. That will definitely free up some money to maybe give a couple of those missing links, those missing pieces, and those players for Aaron Rodgers to really push in the next 4 years for a potential Super Bowl. So that was huge. I mean, this is a win for the Green Bay Packers, but I also do like Aaron Rodgers as much as you want to maybe pretend like it is. This is a win for you.
Absolutely.
The money is insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Keeping your boy Davante Adams, and they freed up money so that they gave you money, you got your money, but we're able to still free some up to hopefully do right by you and bring in the pieces that you need to try to win a Super Bowl. So.
They did everything right for Princess Aaron. So,
So obviously, a lot of the rumors that we heard over the last couple of weeks is that the Denver Broncos were really going to be pursuing Rodgers. But Rodgers goes back to Green Bay, and a couple of hours later,
The Broncos got another quarterback. So also yesterday, like Katie had just said, it was literally just a couple hours afterwards. I was actually taking a nap and woke up to it. That usually happens more often than not. You know, you're sleeping and the big news happens. Not today though. I was awake for today. But Seattle and Denver agreed to trade quarterback Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos for a huge haul. Like, think about the biggest shopping haul you've ever done, times that by 8 million. This is a massive haul. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, quarterback Drew Lock, defensive tackle Shelby Harris, and tight end Noah Fant. So that's it. That is the haul that is going to Seattle.
Yeah.
Denville, that's where I live. Denver will also get a 4th-round pick. So that's just in addition to Russell Wilson as well. So the trade is pending a physical and Wilson waiving his no trade clause. So Ian Rappaport reported that it was his understanding that Denver was the only team that wanted to go in on Russell Wilson or was going after him.
The only team that Russell Wilson wanted to go to.
Oh, right. Ignore what I just said. Ignore that. So, but this is from Ian Rappaport, this quote. My understanding was that this was the only team Russell Wilson wanted to go to. A couple teams had talked to Seattle about trading for Russell Wilson. The Washington Commanders were among the teams that made an offer. It was a big offer, as good or even better than this. Russell Wilson wanted to go to the Denver Broncos. It's a place he likes, and they have a roster that is essentially stacked at receiver, on defense, and at running back. All they needed was a quarterback, and now they got one. So
I want to say about that, as far as like the little bit about the Washington Commanders, is like woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like,
yeah,
they're saying that Russell Wilson, you know, Denver was the only place he wanted to go to. But I know a lot of the analysts, like watching when the news broke, like on ESPN and everything like that, a lot of them were saying, like, be careful what you wish for, because obviously we just spoke on this. The AFC West is no joke. If you go to the Washington Commanders, there's a good chance, like, you're getting in there and you could be winning the division title in the NFC East. It's not too hard. So, a lot of analysts coming out and saying that, be careful what you wish for, because by no means, as much as like a lot of people felt like Denver is a really good team, a lot of good weapons, and they just needed a quarterback. Like, that's great and all, but you still got Patrick Mahomes. You still got Justin Herbert. Derek Carr being like the weak link, being like the 4th place quarterback in that division when he's a good quarterback shows you just how crazy it's going to be. It's not going to be easy for Russell Wilson to like even make the postseason. It's going to be a struggle because you're going to have to play 6 games in that division, and it's not going to be easy.
And that's great for Russell Wilson, too, to think that Denver's already pretty strong. You better hope that, and you better get along with who you're clicking with on the field, because Denver just gave away literally everything to the Seattle Seahawks, including personnel. So they gave picks and personnel. So, and I think one of the biggest wins here is Seattle getting tight end Noah Fant. I think that is huge for the Seattle Seahawks. You know, obviously they've got a lot of questions at, quarterback now. I don't think it's going to be Drew Lock. But there's definitely, we'll talk a little bit about it later actually, but there's definitely a question mark there. But I think one of the biggest wins from Seattle on this one is getting Noah Fant. He's a very, very good tight end, young tight end. So,
and I think that like, it's obvious to everybody that like, Seattle didn't want to part with Russell Wilson.
No.
Like they didn't want for that to happen. They got a ton for him. Seattle was a team that has like for the next couple of years, like didn't have a lot of draft picks.
No, they needed this.
And so, yes, did they not want to part with Russell Wilson? Of course not. Is Drew Lock going to be the answer for them at quarterback? No, probably not. But this was a team that didn't have any draft picks, and they just collected a whole ton of them. So it's up to them what they do with it. Again, this might not be the year to grab a quarterback if you need one. But at least you can use these draft picks to grab other pieces that you need. That way they're one of the teams that's like solid. They just need to plug in their quarterback and then they can go win. But this is going to be a rebuild for Seattle, like obviously. And we'll see what they make of it.
Yep, they definitely have to make of what they got. So definitely, take advantage of everything that came your way. But it is not over, people, because this just happened hours before the show. I was joking with Katie because we do go off of an outline. Katie keeps us very strict to our outline and very organized, very appreciative of that. But I made a joke to her, like over under, how many times are you going to resend me the outline before the show? Because a news story comes out. So she actually only had to update it once. So we were fortunate for that, but we will see in the weeks to come. We're probably going to face the same thing where we're updating. So the reason why we had to go back in and update, Indianapolis has agreed to trade quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. The pending deal involves a 2022 third round pick and next year's third rounder that can convert to a second rounder based off incentives. So it's the same incentives that the Eagles got with the Colts, that if Carson Wentz plays like 70% of the snaps. So people, I think that's like Carson Wentz speaking to people.
It's literally a Carson Wentz incentive only because
no one else does that.
Expecting him not to stay on the field for the whole season.
And I just think that no one else throws that incentive out there. So the fact that it's now given to the
we'll deem it the Carson Wentz.
I think that really, really is it. So the trade also includes a swap of 2022 second round draft pick. So Indianapolis is now going to hold the number 42 overall pick, while Washington will have pick number 47.
Don't you love the domino effect here of like Denver wanted Aaron Rodgers stayed. Okay, now we're going to go to our backup plan and go call Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And like who wanted Denver? Yeah, Washington wanted Wilson.
Russell.
He's gone. Okay,
here we are.
Our plan B and call Carson Wentz. Like,
all right. I don't really know why he was your plan B, but
it's funny, but the way the dominoes fall like that. I don't know. Again, this is a really, really tough time for needing a quarterback, because I understand like Indy's complaint like this entire time, the whole thing on Indy was that they have such an amazing team on both offense and defense. Mm-hmm. And Carson Wentz was like, it's kind of similar to San Fran, like the way people, have who are not big fans of Jimmy G. They're like, oh, like he's ruining what San Fran has like on their roster. And it's kind of the same with Carson Wentz in Indy. But to me, it's like, okay, so you don't want Carson Wentz, but like, who are you going to bring in that's necessarily better than Carson Wentz? And I'm not saying I like Carson Wentz or think he's not good, but who is out there right now that you can bring in? It honestly might be Jimmy Garoppolo.
I said Teddy Bridgewater.
I would take Jimmy Garoppolo over Carson Wentz to lead that team.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he made it all the way to the NFC Championship. So, it's a really, so many teams are going to be in limbo here. And it's another thing of too, like Washington needed a quarterback and okay, you secured Carson Wentz, but
is he really going to be your long-term?
Him as like a temporary situation,
right?
Because you're not looking at Carson Wentz like he's your franchise quarterback.
No,
you're looking at him as like when somebody graduates high school and they take like a gap year and then they like, okay, Carson Wentz is our gap year and then our franchise quarterback after. So it's a hard time to need a quarterback right now. It really is.
Yeah. We do got some comments on the YouTube, just thinking that both of these people are like the disasters. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think Carson Wentz is the answer anywhere. So, I mean, that's definitely that. And then, hate to break it to you guys, but we aren't drinking tonight. So I gave up wine for Lent. So it's going to be a tough couple of months drink. I am drinking this thing, though, called Lemon Perfect. I need you to tell you this is the best drink I've ever had before. It's non-alcoholic, but it's cold pressed lemon water. It literally tastes like a lemonade, but there's no sugar in it. They do it like I got the blueberry acai flavor. Oh my God, it's delicious. So hate to break it to you all, we're not drinking wine tonight, but don't worry. If you come to our 200th episode, we'll drink all the wine in the world for you. Alrighty, so that's like, listen, massive moves in the quarterback, world. We've got other things, moves where we're going to talk about, but just guys, there's no even like room for sleeping these days. Like I said, I was caught sleeping on the Russell Wilson trade. You can't sleep. I was sleeping. No time for sleeping.
We have you're going to blink and free agency is going to be here. And although like we kind of just said, like, there's not a lot of sexy quarterbacks to choose from, but there are a lot of like very average or below average veteran quarterbacks that are like going to go like hotcakes and find new homes. So
absolutely.
All right. So no free agency yet, but we do have teams were able to place franchise tags on players. Some other teams made some contract moves as far as, giving contracts extensions and big contracts to some of these star players. So just real quick, we're going to rattle off the list that we have in the past week. Some of the moves have included the Cleveland Browns placing a tag on tight end David Njoku, Cincinnati tagging safety Jesse Bates, Kansas City. Oh, I would love to get a guy like this on our team.
Seriously.
Would love to get a look at him, but Kansas City tagging offensive tackle Orlando Brown. I love this one for Miami, being able to keep this guy at a cheap price. Miami tagging tight end Mike Gesicki, and same for Dallas here, tagging tight end Dalton Schultz. The Chargers agreed to a 3-year, $60 million contract extension with their wide receiver, Mike Williams. Good to keep him there.
Yep.
Green Bay tagging wide receiver Devontae Adams. We mentioned that before. Tampa Bay tagging wide receiver Chris Godwin. Tampa Bay just go marching forward, being able to just keep everybody from that Super Bowl team.
I did think that Chris Godwin, I'm surprised they did it this early, actually. I thought that was going to be one of the ones dragged out a little bit, and maybe not dramatic, but I thought that was going to come down to like the end. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to let him walk into free agency? Are we going to try to work a contract? Are we going to tag him? So I'm actually really surprised they tagged him this early.
We have a huge contract out of Tennessee agreeing to a 5-year, $87.5 million contract extension for linebacker Harold Landry. And then, I can't even imagine being a Seattle Seahawks fan.
Oh, they're hurting. They're hurting.
You let Mr. Russell Wilson go, and then you go forth same day, right?
Same day.
Later? Yeah. Releasing linebacker Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
So this is a painful time to be a Seahawks fan right now. Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
They need them.
It's been painful. Obviously, they're coming off too, like a season that was very disappointing as far as standards go for that team, and usually making the postseason year after year. You're playing in a really hard division now, if not one of the, we were talking about it before, possibly the best, second best. And this is a mourning period for Seattle, I would say.
Listen, it's usually dark and gray out in Seattle and a little rainy. I think that weather is going to continue until August when preseason hits. So maybe the sun's coming, but not right now for them.
The sun will not come out tomorrow.
It will definitely not. Not here in Jersey either. You can see I'm bundled up because we got snow again. So
Saturday and Sunday was 70 plus degrees. And
now here we are.
And now here we are with snow again. Funny enough, actually, real quick, my dad was visiting he lives in South Carolina. His headquarters is in New Jersey. So he came here for work for a couple of days. And he came in on Sunday, and I was like, ooh, thanks for bringing the warm weather from South Carolina, because it was like 75.
Yeah.
And then he left today, and I was like, so you come and you bring me the sun, and then you leave me with the snow, and you're like, peace, I'm going back to South Carolina.
Take it back with you. Cool. Not happy, Peter. Not happy. Yeah. Someone wants Mr. Bobby Wagner over to the New York Giants, so I guess we'll see. Why not? The Giants literally have $0 though, so we got to make a lot of cuts. So
we are bringing, we had Justin on the show last week, and he was very fearful that we were going to be losing linebacker Blake Martinez, and we are happy to report that the Giants have worked out, a structure with his contract, be able to keep him And so we have our Blakey Poo for another season. So
we do. Some subliminal messaging coming from Evan Ingram's account, though. He has stripped the New York Giants from a lot of his pages. And yesterday he had just sent out a money bag tweet, like emoji. So someone was like, oh, maybe he's getting an offer.
I simply Giants are listening to trades and
as they should.
That they're listening to trades for him. Like teams are looking at him not only as a tight end but a slot receiver. So,
and if you think he's worth it, other teams, and you want to give us stuff, please, by all means. I had quote tweeted his money bag tweet, and I put the Get Out Leave by JoJo on there. So I don't want him on the Giants anymore.
And Justin from Talking Giants, who again we had on the show last week, really good episode. He was talking about, he definitely Justin dives deeper into the draft, and he goes to some of the camps and everything like that. And he was saying that this is a really good tight end draft. And there's a lot of guys that you can get in the later rounds that would be really, great for us. So
let's do it.
By all means, I'm 100% with it. Listen to what we could possibly get. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. All righty, let's move over to Housewives. We've got topics for you. They're quick and they are hot on this cold, cold evening in New Jersey. So let's talk about Miss Jen Shah and her trial. Well, it was only 2 weeks away and now it has been moved to July 11th. So the judge has 2 other trials on the calendar. Couldn't they have made I've got a new calendar.
The people need to hear about this one.
We need this one. I don't know what's going on with the other ones, but you should have been prepared. Your calendar should have been out, all the writing on there. So listen, if I can have a calendar, I'm big into my calendar these days. You all can have one and this judge can have one. So unfortunately, we're moving to July 11th. So the judge also noted it could be moved again in the third quarter. The news almost guarantees that Bravo will bring back Jen for season 4 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City in order to capture her case on the show. So they are filming season 3 right now. So I'm sure that was a huge bummer for Bravo. But like this had said, it's probably definitely for her, no matter what the hell she does this season, which will probably be something batshit crazy, and we will still not like her. It definitely guarantees her a spot on season 4.
I mean, look how many times that in the last couple of seasons definitely with New Jersey, I know, where they finish a season finishes and they almost immediately start filming the next one.
They have to,
based on certain storylines that they want to catch and stuff like that. There's no doubt in my mind that season 3 is going to stop. They're going to be done filming season 3 for Salt Lake City, and they're going to immediately pick up in time for at least July if that trial does happen. But I mean, this could get dragged on forever. A lot of court cases do, a lot of situations. I said to Caitlin today, everything that went down with the Judices felt like it just took centuries. So this could be a long time before we see anything really and truly happen. So
we shall see. So producers of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills have complied with a federal civil subpoena by turning over all footage, even unaired footage, of Erica Jane. The latest reports state that Erica's ongoing legal battles are bleeding her dry and she's behind on her rent. So she's still currently being sued for $2.1 million. And Beverly Hills is expected to return in spring of 2022. So she is coming back, to my knowledge. So she's probably waiting for the show check so she can, make some money there. But I'm not surprised that Beverly Hills had to hand over everything. So this is an active trial that's going on right now. So they need all the evidence.
With Jen Shah, I remember that was a headline recently where she asked the courts to not look at footage from Real Housewives.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
We're going to do that. You're in the public.
Because I mean, think about it. That's a bird's eye view, or that's not bird's eye view. That's in it, in your personal life view of how you're living, what you're spending your money on, your lavish parties, this, that, it's a perfect piece of evidence to look at. So you weren't getting away with that one.
All right, let's move over to Potomac. Despite some rumors, a Bravo insider has confirmed that Candace Dillard has not been fired from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Fans, then speculated that, she was instead retiring. But the insider confirmed she is still a housewife. The rumor started when Candace tweeted, well, when one door closes, another will open. So Potomac is expected to return for season 7 in mid to late 2022. So, hey, very similar to what we've been seeing this week with with football, NFL players tweeting out. It's not always what you guys seem, what we think sometimes. So clearly this tweet did not have anything to do with that. It was probably something else, but obviously speculations happen like this all the time, but there's your direct tie between Housewives and NFL, because this whole week, that's all everyone's been doing is kind of just picking apart players' tweets, being like, what does this mean? So
yeah, and we always have cast shakeup news to report
right
on the show. And I know Caitlin and I even saw some rumors and some rumblings about potentially what the New York cast is going to look like. I think
we saw Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was it? Yeah.
I had said
City and yeah. Salt Lake City. And obviously because we're not going to have Jenny and we're not going to have Mary anymore. And by the way, you guys, I will tell you at the end of the show as well, but reunion part 3 is this weekend. So definitely stick with us next week for reunion.
We'll do the recap. Yep.
But yeah, we're reporting all the time. Once we get more details, definitely on Salt Lake City. New York is always swirling with rumors. Once we feel there are more like concrete things out there, obviously we'll share them with you.
We'll let you know.
But let's get into our game for tonight. This is one of our classic games on the Real Football Fans of New Jersey, and definitely ties into a lot of the news that broke in the football world this week. So this is buy or sell, but it is an off-season buzz edition. So if you haven't seen us do buy or sell before, I don't know which
one of our faves
the last 4 years, but it's one of our favorites. We played it several times. We always love giving like specific themes to it. We are going to give 10 statements, and Caitlin and I are going to decide whether we buy or sell those statements. So if we buy, it means that we're buying into it. We agree with that statement. We believe that it will happen. If we are selling it, it means that we do not agree with it. We do not think it's going to happen. So a lot of juicy things.
A lot of goods.
But let's just kick it right off with number 1. And it says, with his new 4-year extension, Aaron Rodgers will win a Super Bowl with Green Bay during that span. So in the next 4 years on that contract, are you buying or selling that Green Bay will win a Super Bowl?
I am selling it. I think that, and my reason behind it is that I think the Packers are they're just a naturally good team right now, and they're in a good spot. What I'm more nervous about is these teams that are just continuing to grow, continuing to get better, or even teams like Kansas City, where we saw them have 2 or 3 bad games when they shot out of a cannon in the playoffs, and we were terrified of them. Again, I'm not so scared of the Green Bay Packers. And then you look at a team like the Chargers, who missed the playoffs last year. I'm more scared of a team like that, like these up and coming like teams that are just better and better. Like look at the Rams, like they sold everything. Obviously. Yeah, the Bengals. Like for me, like those are the teams that are going to be in the spotlight over the next 4 years. And I just don't think the Packers will make it to that. They'll do well. I think they're fine. They won't make it or win a Super Bowl. They could make it. They won't win.
I'm going to sell it as well. I'm going to say that they don't win a Super Bowl. And honestly, at this point, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to win another Super Bowl in his career.
Right.
And that could
That's
be
fair.
The Packers or somebody else. He's been in the league for a very, very, very long time. These 4 years could be the end of it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it happening. There's something weird about Green Bay. It's not that I'm not afraid of them, or it's not that I don't believe in them to, get a number 1 seed in the playoffs. But whatever it is, they're never the underdog either. And yet the underdog always beats them in the playoffs. And it makes no sense. Aaron Rodgers is usually the MVP of the league that year. And it seems like all the stars are aligning for them to
just don't get it.
Do it. I thought this year they might have had a shot, and they just don't do it. I don't understand. They're just that team that makes the postseason every single year, and they just can't. Like, he can't even. The funny thing is, well, not funny for them, but they can't even make it to the Super Bowl.
No, like literally.
We're talking about winning Super Bowl,
right?
They can't even make it to the Super Bowl, which is another whole like crazy thing to think about. But I'm selling this one as well. All right. Number 2, with Russell Wilson at quarterback, Denver now becomes Kansas City's biggest threat in the AFC West.
I'm going to sell this. I still think it's the Chargers. I think that we're going to see a lot of positives coming out of Denver this year. And maybe in a couple of years, maybe they become more of a threat. But as of right now, right this second, going into the 2022 season, it's still the Chargers for me.
Yeah, I'm selling it as well. And I agree with you. It's the Chargers. And as much as I love Russell Wilson, I think he's an unbelievable quarterback. He is still going to a new team where he's going to have to learn a new offense and, form a relationship and get comfortable with his players that are surrounding him and learning the playbook and learning his coaches and everything like that. So it's not just because it's Russell Wilson doesn't mean it's going to come super easy.
No, of course not.
Chargers are just, and I do believe that they will be successful, but the Chargers are just like, they're ready to go. I'm afraid of them. So, all right. Looking at the draft, question number 3, 2 quarterbacks will be drafted in the top 10 of this year's draft. Buy or sell?
So I'm buying it. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to buy it because I know 2 teams are going to be stupid and do it. So
your reason is my exact reason. And so far we are just thinking completely alike.
Someone's going to pull the trigger. They're going to be dumb. They're going to be so stupid and do it. And that's why I'm buying it. I don't agree with it. We should be selling it. It should be a no-brainer. Sell. Like, no buy.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. My disclaimer was going to be like, hey, everybody, it's not that I think that they should do this, but I think there are going to be desperate teams and they're going to make desperate moves. I definitely think we could be looking at Carolina doing it at spot number 6. And I think that we could potentially be looking at Atlanta pulling the trigger. I believe they're at number 9. We could have teams trade up into the top 10 and grab somebody if they really like someone. But I just think teams are going to get a little desperate and just go for it, even though, I don't agree with doing that either. All right, number 4, back to Aaron Rodgers. With his extension, Jordan Love will never be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I'm going to buy it. I think the Jordan Love narrative is gone. It's not, I even look to like the Niners with Jimmy G and Trey Lance, or even you look to, Chicago with Justin Fields and Andy. At least some of these guys had a chance, or they kind of use them a little bit, or even when the Eagles had Carson Wentz starting, they still brought in Jalen from time to time. They were still kind of testing things out. And I'm not saying the Packers should have ever tested Jordan Love out or seen things, but there was just nothing there. It was just radio.
They never let the kids see the field.
Do anything in no matter what the circumstance was. Do I think that could actually potentially bite them in the ass in 4 years? Yeah. What if something happens to Aaron Rodgers? You guys are royally screwed putting that kid in the game. I just think with how the Packers have not used him, I guess, and just bringing on Aaron Rodgers for another 4 years, he's just, and he won't be the starter after Aaron Rodgers is gone. So it's just, he's done, in my opinion, which is sad, but.
We are 4 for 4. I am buying this as well. I think the fact too, that there's no tape on this kid,
there's just nothing.
It's not going to intrigue other teams that need quarterbacks to call for Jordan Love because you don't have anything to go off of. So I feel like now it's kind of like he's missed the bus, on his opportunity, where it's there is Jordan Love out there, but maybe we'll just draft one of these kids.
Right. What do you know on him? Yeah.
I think this was kind of like the nail in the coffin. I don't think we'll see him as a starting quarterback.
No.
All right. Number 5, an offensive lineman will be the number 1 pick in this year's draft.
I'm buying it. There's so many good ones. And I'm wearing my Alabama shirt today. I'm going to keep wearing Alabama gear to put some good juju into the Giants like sphere. Yeah. I know it's probably unlikely, but this is a great line class. And I just hope that, we're in a good spot. But I just think that there's so many people that I want that I don't even know will make it that far. But number one, 100% someone's going.
Yeah, 5 for 5 now. I'm buying this. I would love to sell it because then that means that the Giants have a chance of getting one of these guys. But I'm going to buy it. It also plays into the fact that it's Jacksonville at number 1. I think they really need to lock down, like, they can get an all-pro lineman to protect, Trevor Lawrence for the next 10 plus years. That is a huge, huge win. So yeah, I'm buying this one as well. All right, this one's interesting.
Yeah.
Number 6, Dallas wide receiver Amari Cooper will be traded to an NFC East team.
I'm going to sell it. I think he's actually going to go back to the AFC. And the thing with Amari Cooper always bothers me. Obviously, I've loved him since his Bama days. I actually think the NFL hasn't used him properly. I really don't think he's been utilized well as a wide receiver in the NFL. Whether it's him, how he acts on the field, or how he performs on the field, or how going into offenses that maybe he's not, fully inclined to. So, and it's a huge miss for me, in my opinion. So I don't think he's going to go within the NFC East or the NFC. I actually think he's going to go back to the AFC.
Okay. This is where our streak ends.
Oh, no.
I am going to buy this. And I feel like I was leaning towards buying it because I think there are 2 horses in the race. I think he could end up with the Washington Commanders or the Philadelphia Eagles, both in desperate need of wide receivers. I'd say feeling more desperate. Probably. And Dallas is listening to trade offers for Amari Cooper. That has come out. That's a headline right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see it. I could see him staying within the division and going to a team like Philadelphia. That is one of the most wide receiver needy teams in the entire league right now. So, all right, number 7. Are they going to be able to do what Tampa Bay has done? The Rams, the Super Bowl reigning champion Los Angeles Rams, will they will keep Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller, who are both free agents.
I'm buying it. They're going to do everything in their power to keep both of them. So
I'm going to buy it as well because I also think both of those players are going to be willing to. Oh, we're back.
Did you lose me? You're back. I can hear you. Yeah,
We're back. I think both of those players are also going to be willing to work with the Rams.
Right. I agree.
They need to restructure their contracts or look at things because I think I know Odell Beckham Jr. came out and said that he wants to stay there.
Right.
So, when you're coming off of winning a Super Bowl, and if you can keep those puzzle pieces in place and the team, you can pretty much secure it as the same team, I'd be willing to take a bit of a pay cut to try to be a part of that again and try to push to win back to back. So
absolutely.
I'm buying this as well. I think the team's going to make it happen. I think both players are willing to work with the team to stay. Okay, number 8. The Pittsburgh Steelers draft a quarterback in the first round of the NFL draft.
They are one of the teams that could probably do it and might make that mistake, I think. I'm still going to sell it, though, this one. So
I'm going to sell it. And I don't know. I just look at the Pittsburgh Steelers they are a really storied franchise. Obviously, a lot of championships under their belt. And I feel like they definitely need their franchise quarterback. Obviously, Big Ben is retiring. And I feel like they kind of know that there's nobody out there right now, in the draft, that could be their next Big Ben for however many seasons. Right. And like I said before, taking a gap year, I actually think they're going to be one of these teams that brings in one of the not so sexy, veteran free agent quarterbacks and just be like, let's rock with this guy for a year and then see where we're at next year and who we can potentially bring in. So I am going to sell this. All right. Number 9, Seattle will, speaking of Seattle, will find a veteran free agent at quarterback to compete with Drew Lock.
I'm going to sell it. They've got some real estate in the draft now. They've actually got some early real estate, mid, and then later. I think they kind of could wait to that mid-later section and see and maybe bring someone in to compete with Drew Lock. I don't think they're going to go after a free agent, though.
That's a good point. I mean, I think I could, like, you see some of these teams like, okay, we have Drew, like maybe it could work. And let's just roll the dice on a kid in like the third or fourth round.
Right.
Like, you never know. Like, you're talking about guys like Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson going in like those mid rounds. You could still land somebody that nobody
absolutely.
would have been expecting. So I think that's what they should do. I actually like your answer, but I did buy this because you are going to have somebody come in and compete. I don't know. Like we just said, you think it's going to be in the draft. I think it's maybe going to be a veteran. But Drew Lock is definitely not like, here's the keys to being like our quarterback. Like it's not going to work that way in Seattle. All right. And last but not least, there will be no running backs taken in the first round of this year's draft.
I'm going to buy this one. I think we don't see them until the second and third round, maybe mid to late second round. So,
yeah, I'm going to buy this one as well. I actually kind of like the free agent list at running back this year.
Yeah.
I think there's some guys, like if you do need somebody, I think there's some really good guys on that list that you can grab. And obviously people are always super, super critical about drafting a running back in the first round because you know, they don't last as long in the league as like other positions. And obviously this is a passing league now. So people are ultra critical. So I just think there's too many good free agents. So there's just like no need to go after it. And again, like speaking on like the Drew Lock situation of like, if you want to like roll the dice on a running back, like in the third or fourth round, something like that. I don't think there's a need for anybody really to be taking somebody in the first.
I agree.
That was our game. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
I'm super excited for free agency and the draft. And that just got me more excited. And
I know. It's off-season frenzy, people. There's so many things happening. So much more to look forward to. So it's wild right now there, people. So just, you know, keep looking out. Don't take naps like I do. Always be awake. Always have your phone open because, like I said, it's getting wild and crazy out there. So, and it's only going to get crazier once we get to free agency and then the draft. So, let's get ready for that. So, it is that part of the episode where we get it off our chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, not wine until Easter weekend for me. But positive, negative, you know, everything like I just said. Whatever you want to let the audience know. So what do you have for us?
So with the Aaron Rodgers news, I mean, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago where we polled everybody on the show asking like, do you think Aaron Rodgers will be with the Green Bay Packers next year? And I felt confident in my answer. You know, I voted on that poll. We always like to throw in our votes so they count with the people. But I said that Aaron Rodgers would remain with the Green Bay Packers. I think I was like part of the 5% maybe that thought that. So I want to toot my own horn on that. I just think Aaron Rodgers, like we talk about it all the time, he just feeds into the drama. And honestly, like as much as he wins and he collects these MVP trophies, like you're still not collecting Super Bowl trophies. So let's just throw that out there. But, you know, he's just getting so annoying. And this is just not in the football world, but obviously with everything going on with his relationship with Shailene Woodley, who was his fiance, and then they broke up. And then like days after they announced their breakup, he like goes onto Instagram and like basically writes like a whole loving tribute to her. And then like a couple of days after that, they're spotted like getting lunch together. They just attended a friend's destination wedding together, like I think just this past weekend. So he's so annoying, like in that aspect, and also in the aspect of his relationship with the Green Bay Packers. Like you try to make everybody. Remember, he was also posting on Instagram a couple of weeks ago things that were seeming very much so like you're leaving Green Bay. And then at the NFL honors, when he accepted his MVP award, very weird and saying weird comments like, okay, I guess he's leaving Green Bay. So it's just like, why are you playing these mind games with the people? It's
Yeah.
very annoying. And I know you and I ask a couple of Packers fans that we know all the time, like, are you like annoyed with this guy? And no, they're ride or die.
No, because he's Princess Aaron, and they give him everything.
But I'm like, God, you got to be getting sick of this guy. Like, don't you just wish you could like wake up one day and the headline isn't about like Aaron Rodgers and his bullshit? So
yeah,
but I did call it. He is with Green Bay. Definitely would have never
good call.
Russell Wilson going to Denver.
No,
but I did get the Aaron Rodgers one right. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I loved Russell Wilson's news taking away the spotlight from Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
So that was just classic, and the cherry on top of a good day for that. So yes, I mean, mine definitely gets still with football and everything that's going on right now these past couple of days, and back to the quarterback scenario, to where I'll never, it's so many things just constantly remind us that we are very fortunate just having Eli Manning as a quarterback for 16 seasons. But not just even the longevity of him, being our quarterback, not getting injured, always starting for us, how he departed from the New York Giants. He chose to retire he could have played a couple more seasons I don't doubt that. He could have played 2 or 3 more seasons on another team. He chose to leave. He did what he had to do with the Giants for a very long time. We were obviously making a change in our franchise where we were going. I'll never disagree with decisions that we had made. But I looked at teams like the Patriots. I looked to the Seahawks, and I struggle so hard to know that a quarterback that you loved for so long is choosing to go to another organization. And that's the fate of it. So Tom Brady goes to the Bucs. Russell Wilson's now going to Denver. Like, I could never put myself in those shoes. I would never, we talk about it sometimes. Like, I don't think I could have ever watched Eli play for another team. It would be you want to wish them success. And of course, but it would be too hard to actually physically sit down and be like, this is the reality now. Someone that you trusted to put the team on their back for so long is now no longer yours.
Well, we've talked a lot about how it's weird to see this specific generation of quarterbacks all retiring now, and how weird that has felt, because those were the quarterbacks we grew up with and watched for years and years and years. And it feels very weird. So we're seeing that whole group of guys not only retire, but we're seeing a group of guys leave and retire from this game, having played with one team their entire career. And I'm telling you, it's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
That just doesn't exist. Even Tom Brady left the New England Patriots. And so, yeah, in a way, it's sad to lose that group of guys. It's also sad to think that it's going to be extremely rare if we ever see it, where guys stay with one team for their entire career.
Yeah. And it's honestly, and maybe these fans, coming up with a lot of these younger guys, they'll be more, ready for a situation like that. But I know, a lot of the, people we look at and our teams, that was never a situation that we ever wanted, we could see ourselves in. So I definitely feel for Seattle fans right now. That was very, very difficult. You want to see your guy, finish with you and be with your team, or make the decision just to stop playing, and then that's it. So, and on the other hand, I think bringing with the Giants too, there's so many teams, like you had said before, that are in this limbo right now with quarterbacks, to where they are flip-flopping. You look at the Colts, who just got Carson Wentz, are now giving him to Washington. They are a good team, and they're in this such weird, tricky step where they're trying to get someone in there, but they're having difficulties. And now they have a question mark. So they just gave away their quarterback willingly, and they're now back at square one. Who do we fill in this spot? The Washington Commanders are one of those teams that's kind of in this weird limbo. So when I put it on the Giants, I'm giving a lot of benefit of the doubt to Daniel Jones. I want him to succeed, because I do not want us to become that limbo team. It's another scenario that, as a Giants fan, I do not want to be put in.
And a team like Washington has been that way for years now.
A very long time.
They have switched quarterbacks maybe more than anybody. So yeah, you do not want to fall into that pattern and into that trap. And that's why, again, too, I've been willing to like let them see things through with Daniel Jones because like I'm already annoyed that we've had to flip flop and get so many new head coaches over the last.
I know.
It's like you don't want to have to be doing that like every 2 years. You just want to get it right and go, and it's hard. So
yeah. So just 2 quarterback situations that are unfolding like in front of us right now that I just don't want to be a part of them.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Well, that is our show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Episode 196. Again, stay tuned for news hopefully soon about our 200th live episode.
Live.
And in the meantime, you do not want to miss the Real Housewives of Orange County that is on tonight at 9:00. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 3 on Sunday at 8. Like we said before, we will give you that reunion recap next Wednesday. New Jersey, they are on Tuesday at 8:00. And this time next week, people, NFL free agency period is 1 week away. If you thought like this was the craziness, like craziness is coming, more of it. So
it's coming.
Everybody buckle in, get ready. We are here for you. We are here to report all the crazy news. So thank you guys again for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week.
Yes, we will. Thank you guys. Have a great night.